Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Rodney Glover. I am the candidate for governor of Florida. I was on a live this morning and identity politics popped into play. Um, as you know, I'm non-party affiliated, but when I do meet people or when people talk to me, the assumption is that I'm Democrat because I'm black. And if I'm not Democrat, then the immediate push is why are you not, as if I'm supposed to be. Now, on this platform, I've always said I'm non party affiliated. I believe that the Democrats have caused just as much harm as the Republicans as it relates to not giving citizens more authority. If this calls out your favorite Democrat, that's your problem. I'm trying to get citizens more power. Now, you guys know if you've been looking at my videos, I just point out information. I was asked, "Who are you?" My name's Rodney Glover. I'm running for governor of Florida. I'm non-party affiliated. Why are you not running for Democrat? I gave my answer. 43 years, I have not seen more power be given to citizens, and pointed out the reasons. It was Article 1, Section 5 of the Constitution, and in the state of Florida, 100.361. And a lot of people are not understanding of those articles. They just never saw those statutes, those articles. So of course, this leads to, you're not going to get the support. No one's going to do this because you're third party. All of these things. And I said, well, can't citizens are turning in my petitions. You're not going to get the support. Define support. If citizens are supporting, then you tell me what the support is. Citizens, what I'm trying to get you to understand is that when a candidate comes out to tell you exactly what the problem is, if it's who's telling you, then you got to start asking your candidate why they're not saying what I'm saying. If I'm telling you that we're lacking accountability and I'm pointing to you the exact laws that we need to change to get that, if you're not getting that from your candidate, then you should be asking your candidate why, not being harmful or disrespectful to other candidates that are trying to come out here and point out exactly what's wrong. I am not getting into identity politics. Individual even told me maybe you should run as a Democrat, and then when you get in, you can start to, implement, or try to do the independent thing. Why can't I run authentically, directly right now? It's because of who I am. It's because I do not have a large platform. I may be telling you the exact truth. If you go to glover2026.com, you can look at all the information, look it up. It's all there, it's all true, and the references are factual. But that's not what people want. They wanted to argue. They wanted to find anything to discredit me. So they asked me about what qualifies you. I said same thing that qualifies any citizen: age 35, in the state for 7 years, and a naturalized citizen. That's what qualifies any citizen to get in here and try to do better for this state. That's not good enough for people. They want status quo. They wanted someone who's already in politics. Well, why would you want to start at the top? I'm pointing out statute 112.51, which says the governor can remove any municipal elected official if they don't see things the way he wants it to be done. He can suspend their position without having to ask citizens under that statute. You cannot run and try to do the best you can for citizens if you are under a statute that doesn't involve citizens being able to at least provide protection for the person that they put in the office. But if you don't know 112.51, if you don't know 100.361, if you've never looked into Article 1, Section 5, if we're going to talk about education and you've never looked into 1008.25, then an individual says, oh, you know all of these statutes, you know all of these numbers, but you got to be able to dumb that down. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in a room that is interviewing political candidates, and they're asking me to bring it lower. And I'm trying to speak at a level that brings you up to where the problems are. I'm hitting the root level, but I have to tell you about the laws that are in place. Now, they're saying all of the right things. They're saying, oh, well, we need a candidate that's going to be able to put in legislation and statute that are going to work. Going to work for who if we don't have accountability to hold anybody accountable to that? Which laws, regulations, and statutes are you referencing? Nobody had any of that. It was just semantic conversation. It was just randomized why we don't like you as a candidate, why you're not good as a third party person. So they started to ask me about my career in the military. Give me your name, your rank, and and it was something else. And I said, look, man, I was an IT in the Navy and retired after 22 years. Well, if you don't want to tell us what your rank at, why is any of that important to what we're trying to do today? If I worked at McDonald's, why is it important to what I can do today? Why is it important that you want to be able to dissect my 22-year career to find if I meet if my 22 career that I retired from honorably, that most of you, that all of you will never sign off on? Why does it matter? I don't sit around and get into the identity. I'm trying to help all citizens. I'm running for this entire state. I'm not running for Republicans. I'm not running for Democrats. I'm not running for independents singularly. I'm running for every citizen in this state to be able to have control over your elected officials. But today showed me that it will be an uphill battle. And when citizens see that you're doing something, some citizens see that you're doing something that's got to go uphill. They never realize that they're the reason that the uphill climb is so hard. They never see that. We never got into, no one ever addressed whether or not Article 1, Section 5 did not allow for citizens to be able to address this problem. No one ever addressed 100.361. No one ever addressed 1008.25. No one ever addressed 112.51. It was only, can we trust you? And if you follow me, you know, I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to help me put a system in place to where if any candidate gets out of line, we have an avenue to correct them. That's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to help build a system where we can access it and course correct those people who work for us. The rest of this stuff, the rest of these arguments, they may be valid to some extent, but this two-party system thing, y'all just let it go. Can we have a candidate that wants to do the best for every citizen? Because there's going to be a conversation about this two-party thing forever until you give me an opportunity to stand toe to toe with a Republican, a Democrat, and an independent. And you will get to hear who has everyone's best interest at heart.